Hello everybody, my name is Bill. Welcome back to yet another episode of my Dynasty Mode explanations for NCAA Football 2007. This is a big achievement. Third episode of the series, a new career best. Alright, let's go ahead and get into the recap as well of week 5. With my key matchups, I said that Tampa Bay was going to beat Texas. As you can see, that did not happen, with Texas winning 38-21. But I was right about Mickey beating Clemson 42-17. Mickey is on a good roll now. The Big Ten matchup came down to a touchdown, with Ohio State barely beating Penn State. As you can see, I thought Alabama was going to beat Arkansas. As you can see, that clearly did not happen, as Arkansas just basically routed Alabama 38-17. And the last key matchup, I was right about Miami beating North Carolina State, but it was just barely, but I was right anyway. So, with week 5 now in the books, heading into week 6, the top 25 is looking like this. For the coaches poll, McNary Central is first, as always, because it's my dynasty, but I'm not focusing on them. Florida State is number 2, Ohio State's 3, West Virginia's 4th, 5th is Colorado, 6th is Arkansas, 7th is USC, Penn State falls down to number 8, Wisconsin jumps up to 9, Texas is now number 10, Michigan stays where they're at 11, excuse me there, Tampa Bay falls down to 12th, Virginia Tech falls down to 13th even though they won, same with Arizona State falling down to 14th even though they won. Nebraska jumps up to 15th. Northern Illinois being the surprise team here and being ranked 16th in the nation, even though they are a 4-star program, 5-0, but they're a MAC team, so the MAC's getting some love in this. Oklahoma is 17th, jumping up 4. Minnesota is 18th, jumping up 5. North Carolina State falls down 4 to 19th. Florida jumps up 4 to 20th. Alabama falls down 2 to 21st. Oregon jumps up 3 spots to 22nd, even though they had a bye week. Oklahoma State is welcomed into the rankings for the first time in the coaches, along with Iowa, and South Carolina barely stays in the top 25, being, 25th. That's with Georgia Tech being 26th, Michigan State 27th, Texas A&M 28th, Auburn 29th, LSU 30th, Boise State 31st, Miami 32nd, and Louisville being 33rd. The teams that dropped out were Georgia Tech and LSU. In the media, so far they agree with the coaches, with McNary Central being 1, Florida State being 2, and Ohio State being 3, and West Virginia being 4th and Colorado being 5th. But they say Texas should be 6th after beating Tampa Bay, Wisconsin should be 7th, USC should stay at 8th, Arkansas being 9th, Penn State falling down to 10th, Virginia Tech being 11th, Tampa Bay being 12th, Arizona State being 13th, Michigan 14th, Oklahoma 15th, 16th should be Northern Illinois, 15th Nebraska, 18th Florida, 19th Oregon, 20th North Carolina State, Alabama 21st, they think Michigan State should be 22nd, Oklahoma State 23rd, 24th Minnesota, and 25th Iowa, with Texas A&M being 26th, Miami 27th, Georgia Tech 28th, 29th LSU, 30th Boise State, 31st Auburn, 32nd South Carolina, 33rd Oregon State, and 34th Georgia. And as for my bottom 10 of the week, we will start off with a regular here, being none other than, if I could just get this to work correctly, and if I hit the buttons, we're starting off with San Jose State being number 1, they finally got a lot of points. The only problem is they allowed to have Nevada score more than them. As you can see, they lost 24-43. They scored more points than they did in their first 3 games combined, but that still didn't help them all that much. Next is Kentucky, who are now 0-2 in conference play and just suffered a 28-7 loss to Florida. Like I said, they should just stick to basketball, really. Same with number 3 being Kansas. I mean, they've got 100 total points, but when you only score 7 points, allow the other team to score 45, that doesn't really help you all that much when it comes to winning games. And number 4, we have Idaho, who barely lost to Utah State, so they could have gotten their first win of the year, but they remain being one of 4 winless teams. Connecticut's 5th. They do have a win against Fresno State, but that doesn't really help them getting out of the hole just yet. With Northwestern being number 6. Northwestern, I really thought after seeing what they did last year, being able to turn this around and potentially become bowl eligible. I mean, they technically still can, because with them they have like 7 games left of the season, and to be bowl eligible you just need to win 6. So they just have to win 5 out of the next 7 and they become bowl eligible. Easier said than done, though. Number 7, I have it being Boston College, 1-4 and 0-3 in conference play, with them going against Arkansas next. So yeah, this team was in a bowl game at 4-8, and I highly questioned why, and I'm still questioning why. Number 8, I have it being Fresno State. They're B-, and B overall, but by the looks of it, they're just underperforming their overall. And speaking of underperforming their overalls, next we have Washington, who's B+, B+, and B, but they are also underperforming in the Pac-10, which is a conference you do not need to be underperforming in. And a team that I think could potentially turn it around is Texas Tech. They're A-, A-, and B+. So I think that they could potentially turn their year around. I mean, they're 1-3 right now, so they still have a good chance to at least make it to a bowl game. I don't think they're winning the Big 12 South, though. Oh, but that's just my opinion there. And now we will get to the 5 key games of the week, starting with the game of the week. Number 9, Wisconsin against number 11, Michigan. This game of the week pits these 2 Big 10 teams in a matchup up in Ann Arbor. Michigan may be coming into this matchup with worse stats than Wisconsin, as you can clearly see there. 90th in points, 110th in total defense, 106 total offense. But that's because they faced off against McNair Central, losing 238-0. As you can see, this is why I don't allow my team to be in the spotlight for this series. The team is actually pretty better on paper than Wisconsin overall wise, as you can see. A+, B+, A+ versus B+, B, and A-. But Wisconsin, as you can see, has a top 5 defense, a top 25 total offense, top 30 in points per game, in which this defense could dominate the offense of the Wolverines. But I would not be surprised if this game goes into overtime, with both teams struggling to score, as Michigan's defense looks good on paper as well. I mean, A+, that's the best you can do. I think home field advantage will play a big role, and Michigan will barely walk out this matchup with the win and the upset. My next game I have is between two Big 12 teams, as if I can stop talking about Big 12 and Big 10 teams enough as is. It's between number 23 Oklahoma State and number 5 Colorado. Another week of undefeated Big 12 teams facing off, this time in Boulder, Colorado, between the Cowboys and the Buffaloes. With the top 25 matchup this week, it'll be the third best offense in the nation going against the 15th best defense. I think Oklahoma State will walk into Boulder and win because they also have the 11th best defense, which should be able to control Colorado's average offense. So that's going to be a pretty good game right there. Like I say that because of the defense for Oklahoma State, they will win the game on the road. And my next matchup will involve two teams that were involved in the key games last week, being Mickey and Florida State. As I can't stop talking about Mickey, The Devils have built up some momentum going into this matchup, and they certainly need it. Going on the road against the number 2 team in the nation, who has the best offense and the best defense of the entire ACC. This will be Mickey's biggest challenge yet, as if they win, they control the Atlantic Division, but if they lose, any hopes of making it to the ACC championship game are gone. It's another must-win game for them, and for the Devils, who need to upset the Noles at home in Tallahassee and any championship dream for them, because as you can see, Florida State is on a 9-game win streak since last season. They have the second best offense, the 5th best defense in the entire nation. Both are best numbers for the entire conference. But I say with Mickey having 2 key wins coming into this game, I think that the Devils will win and keep any ACC championship hopes alive for them. My next key game will be a historic rivalry. One that's big in the Big 12. Texas and Oklahoma. Both teams on 4-game win streaks. Going to Dallas. The Red River Shootout. With both teams heading into this matchup undefeated, it's going to be a great game in Dallas. The Longhorns are coming off upsetting number 5 Tampa Bay, and the Sooners are coming off a 56-14 drumming of Texas Tech, who are underperforming, as I said earlier. This could determine early on who has control over the Big 12 South, with Tampa Bay momentarily out of the question. This game will be high scoring without a shadow of doubt. It'll be a shootout. It'll be a barn burner, a slobber knocker, a knockout drag-out fight between these two rivals. I think that Oklahoma will put the final blow and not leave enough time for Texas to come back and upsetting Texas and possibly bringing Tampa Bay back into the conversation. Because if Oklahoma wins, they have tiebreaker over Texas, but Texas has the tiebreaker over Tampa Bay. If Tampa Bay beats Oklahoma, though, Tampa Bay will have the tiebreaker over Oklahoma, but not over Texas, which should get very interesting come the end of the year. And my last key game will be another Pac-10. Will be a Pac-10 matchup between number 22 Oregon and number 14 Arizona State. Arizona State was on the path to the national championship game last year, heading into this matchup when the Ducks upset the then-ranked 3 Arizona State Sun Devils, halting any chances of them making to the national championship. This year, with a loss for Arizona State already against Georgia back in week 2, Sun Devils have to win out in hopes of making it to the national championship. Oregon is surprisingly good this year, with one loss on the record as well, with theirs coming up short against Boise State to open up the year. They too have to win out to hopefully go to the national championship. I say hopefully because both teams have to run through USC as well, and USC has always been one of the best teams in NCAA. I say this game will be a defensive stranglehold, and that Oregon will ruin Arizona State's chances of the national championship again this year. Like I said, both teams still have to go through USC, and Oregon, I say, has a defense that could potentially stop USC and win the Pac-10. Although that's looking too far ahead right now, because sure, they have the third best defense in the country. Both teams overall wise match up pretty evenly, as you can see, B+, B+, and B. I say that's going to be an interesting game right there. As you can see, USC, as I said earlier, has always been one of the best teams. They've got A+, A-, A+. Excuse me. But their offense isn't the best right now. Only 69th best in the nation. So, yeah, that's going to be an interesting matchup. Let's find out when they will face off against each other. USC goes against Arizona State in week 8. And they will face off against Oregon in week 12. So that's going to be an interesting matchup to look forward to see if any national championship plans are ruined at that time. But in the meantime, that will be it for this episode, and I will leave you off with my report card real quick. Like I'm saying, with the extra week, we're expecting to see a few extra wrinkles in the game plan, of course. But that will be it for this episode, and I will see you all next time.